Hey, what's up folks? Jerky Jones here. So I'm just out for a walk in the park, and I've been thinking a lot about this subject. You know, how to be happy, with the secret to happiness, the ever elusive, ever eternal struggle to find happiness and meaning in our life, you know? And it's taken me 39 years, almost 40, and I think I found it, okay? I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm just gonna tell you what it is, what I believe it is. There's gonna be a million different opinions on this, but I think the real way to find the way to nourish the soul and to find meaning in your life and to be happy is by giving. Giving. So what do I mean by that? I mean, giving your time, your energy, your knowledge, your love to people, right? Helping people in need, and giving experiences, positive experiences. You know, one thing I can tell you it's not is chasing the almighty dollar, okay? And that I'm speaking from experience, because I am currently out here in oil country, Grand Prairie, Alberta, and I got a good job, pays pretty well. It's up and down in terms of being busy, so I'm not raking in the dough, but that doesn't matter, because what I've learned is that even though I've got a good job and stuff, and I was happy when I first got it, now that I've been doing it for a while, it's actually really stressful, and the novelty and excitement of a new job is worn off, and the grind is real. And I've been finding lately, I go, this is not nourishing my soul. Like just grinding away, operating this heavy equipment, and getting up at 5 a.m. every day in the cold, and dealing with idiots and assholes, and and just slugging away trying to make $1. It's like, it's not it, man. It's not it, at least for me. I'm finding it's not answering my call. You know what I mean? It's paying the bills, I'm surviving, but that's it. There's nothing deeper than that. So that eliminated one factor, that I knew it wasn't chasing the almighty dollar. So how did I end up on the giving thing? Well, because I was talking with my mom and some friends and thinking a lot, and realized after a good conversation with my mom that the answer is, giving. And so I'll give a couple examples. So I was in Nova Scotia, and I found some really good memories I made, and days where I was really happy, and I felt like I was really giving back. Is I would set up my chessboard in downtown Halifax along the water in the summer, and I would sit there, and it would be really busy, and people would be walking by, and people would come up and go, "Oh, you want to play a game of chess?" I'd be like, "Yeah, take a seat, let's go." And I would play chess with them, right? And it didn't matter who won or lose. It wasn't about that. It was just about the experience and bringing some joy to someone's day, like that's a memory they'll never forget. And there was little kids that would play, and old people, and men and women, and all ages would come and sit down. And it felt really good, and I really enjoyed that. Another example is years ago, there's a big kick where you see all these videos of people like interviewing homeless people and this and that. And I was driving, I lived in Kingston, Ontario. And I was driving a taxi cab, and I would pick up homeless people all the time, and people on drugs, and there was a homeless shelter like a couple blocks from my house and stuff. And so, being a guy with a camera, I approached the homeless shelter, and I was like, "Yo, would you guys want to make a video, like documenting what this shelter and safe injection site and all that is like and whatnot?" And they were like, "Yes, we'd love that." And so for 2 months, I was unemployed at the time. For 2 months, I was going down once a week and filming and recording, making a documentary and about this shelter and the people there, and telling their story. And it really fulfilled the soul. I was really happy and motivated, and I felt like I was contributing something to the universe, the energy, the society, the community, all of it, right? And so then I was talking with my mom, and she was saying how like she used to volunteer at a camera club and create these classes and teach camera stuff, and it was all for free. She wasn't getting paid. And she said like that was some of the happiest times of her life, you know? And I got another friend that organizes these like counseling groups and does it for free in their own time, you know, just to help and give back. And they're like, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, like when I organize these and go to these meetings and this and that. So there you go. I think that is humanity, our calling, our true, I think that's what it is. And then I think about like celebrities and millionaires, and they're soulless, you know, they kill themselves, and it's all about gossip and these superficial things. So I was listening to this philosopher named Friedrich Nietzsche, and he had a really interesting concept about that you can never be eternally happy, you know, it's almost impossible. You have small points where you're happy, like I said, when you get a new job, you know, it sucks being broke, you're miserable, we're all suffering, the world is full of suffering, right? And then you get a new job and you're like, yeah, it's exciting, but then the job gets stale after a while and you're miserable again. Same thing with relationships, you know, you find a person you really like and you're infatuated with them and it's all great and love is, you're in the honeymoon stage, you know, but after a while, you need your space again, and you're miserable again, and the person's driving you nuts, and you're driving them nuts, you know, that's just how it is. So happiness comes, we all have our moments where we achieve it, and, you know, it's like a graph, like, but there's a lot more suffering, and a lot more down, and negativity, and also, what's his name, this other, Arthur Schopenhauer, that might have actually been who it was, Arthur Schopenhauer. They both have similar philosophies, but Schopenhauer's is about suffering and how we all suffer, you know, and whatnot. So anyways, I might have got that mixed up, but regardless, the point remains, you know, yeah, it's very difficult to achieve happiness and maintain it all the time. It's just not, the world is full of chaos and craziness and drama and this and that. But I truly believe, you know, you look at history's great people, or people that live really long and stuff like that. And I noticed, you know, they're all very family oriented, and they're all about giving back to the community. Like, I think of Jesus, you know, and Ghandi, Mother Teresa, these kind of people, real inspirations, you know, real people that dedicated their whole life to giving back. And, you know, it's probably a very hard concept to really do and grasp and fully dive into. You know, we're so, here in the West, we're so conditioned to think that happiness comes from material goods, and it's all about me, and, you know, what's best for me, and my new truck and my new car and the newest clothes and purse and jewelry and all that. And I am totally guilty of that kind of line of thinking as well, and chasing after that. But I am telling you from my personal experience, I've been chasing that for a long time, and it's not fulfilling my soul. It's not giving me what I need. So right there, you know. And yes, you can say, oh, if I won the lottery, I'd be happy. Yes, again, you would be for a while, until everyone starts hounding you for money, and, you know, the creditors come after you, and, you know, whatever. It's only temporary. That's not the ultimate. You know, you will be happy for a while, but it'll fade, and you'll be empty feeling again. It's just the way it is, you know. I told my boss recently, I said, you know, I told him this, like, I'm not fulfilled here, and winter's coming up, and it's going to stress me out. I'm going to be miserable working outside and driving this truck and on the icy roads and all that. I said, I ain't doing it. So we've worked it out. I can work seasonal. So I'm taking the winter off. I got one more week of work left, and I'm going to go somewhere warm, either the West Coast or somewhere. I don't know exactly. But obviously I still got to work a bit and make money. We all got to survive. But I'm going to try a lot harder to give back to the people. So also you got to find a balance too, you know, because if you just, like, I don't know, like, I'm not just talking about, oh, give someone $400 and hope they pay me back, and there I'm helping them and giving, and you know, that's not going to bring you happiness. Like, you're going to be pissed when they don't pay you back, and you know, it's not about that. When you give, you got to give without expecting anything back, right? So if you give $200 to a family member to help them out because you love them and you're not expecting anything back, and you see the joy on their face and they're like, thank you so much, that will make you happy. That is a form of giving that I'm talking about. But if they keep hounding you for money and you keep giving them money and they start to use you, that's not going to bring you happiness. So you gotta figure that kind of balance out. That's going to make you miserable over time. So, and again, I'm not saying, you know, strip everything down and give away all your possessions and become a Buddhist monk. But I bet you there's something to that, right? And I kind of think the van life, why I'm so happy in the van life, is because you're forced to minimize and get rid of a lot of excess stuff and live a lot simpler life, you know? So I think that ties into it as well, the van life, and kind of down, like, you know, stripping yourself of material things, and you know, and then adding an element of giving if you can, which you should. That's the whole point of this video, to really lift yourself up and be happy, you know. So yeah, that's my little video. I hope it makes sense. I hope it's reaching out. I hope that people understand and what I'm getting at, you know. I tried to cover the points that I was thinking about when I was walking without the camera rolling. But yeah, that's really it. So yeah, I'm gonna try to live a more giving life where it's not all about money. And like I said, obviously I gotta still work to survive, but I gotta try to dedicate more time to giving back to strangers and helping people if I can, and whether it be kids, teenagers, homeless people, just average, any person. It really shouldn't matter. There shouldn't be like, oh, I'm just gonna give to these people. Like, it's anyone. We're all human. We all need love. We all need help. We all need advice. We all long for connection, for memories, positive memories, you know, to learn, to just be a part of the collective consciousness, basically, you know, in the most positive way possible. So anyways, folks, that's it. That's my video. Gonna try. So we'll see here, and I'll keep you in tune on the adventures. And yeah, just being a positive person, you know, just try to spread joy. Even if you can't really give, just give a positive energy to the universe and to the people you meet. And like I said, and all of this can be argued in one way or the other, you know. Like, you know, we all have our up down days, you know. Not every day we're gonna be like Jesus or Ghandi. You know, it's like I said, it's very hard. We're so conditioned not to be like that, to think the opposite. But I think if you really look deep inside yourself, there's a good person in there, and I believe this is the answer. So, to the secret of a happy life, as much as one can get. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. If you agree, if I'm off, if I'm like, what do you think brings happiness and a happy life? And is it possible to really achieve that all the time? But I'm gonna try, and then I'm gonna figure out where to go and try to be a better person to the universe around me. And so I'm gonna try to just work like 3 days a week this winter and spend the rest of my time giving back. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, folks. This has been Jerky Jones Adventures. Just another video, just another piece of my mind, just putting it out there. All right, well, love y'all. Peace.